Hey guys, Jacob and Peter here, and we're back for another Cedar Point update video.
Yes, hello. It's been, how long has it been? Like over a year now?
Probably something like that. Yeah, but we have this much to show for it.
Yeah, so almost nothing added to the park itself. Get excited. There's one ride here which we'll get to at the end. And technically another ride called the Magnum, which is like sort of in the park, but we focused the focus is mainly on everything outside of the park. And you'll notice from the map that everything outside the park is in fact complete. So there's the water park, there is the campground, another parking lot, whole bunch of cabins, that sort of thing. All of that is now complete and over with, and the rest of the work can just be focused on adding rides and roller coasters and other such attractions. So yeah,
Yes. Let's head over to the hotel entrance.
yeah,
All right. So I'm pretty sure they have seen this though.
yeah. The hotel isn't new. Um, However, right past the hotel, we'll see that there is a water park. I've never actually been in this water park myself, but I've seen it from the exterior, and obviously, Google Earth is the best of friends.
Hmm.
And so I think it's decently accurate. Now, what I will say is Google Earth is approximately 5 years out of date. And you can tell because when you go on Google Earth for Cedar Point, it still shows the Steel Vengeance, which is one of the rides that they have under construction, and that would put it in the year 2017. Um, so, like, because I've never been in the water park, I'm just sort of going off of the outside or like what Google Earth says. Some of this might be inaccurate, and there's not much I can really do about that. Um, in a similar way, there are definitely things in the park that are also inaccurate. The nice thing is, we just went there, and so there
Oh,
are a couple of things. There are a couple of things that we've been able to catch, like, oh, that's wrong. So now we'll be able to fix that, um, which is certainly helpful. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of water slide complexes. You can't actually fit in any of them because, like, this is one of the things with Minecraft that just is a hindrance is you can't really get things exactly how you want because you are working with essentially a 3 foot by 3 foot paintbrush, or it's a meter by a meter, and so you can't really get perfect details, and like you can't fit in the slides because there's nothing to fit in. Um, but this has always been mainly a recreation to look like the real place, not necessarily to ride the rides, like because that's fun and all, but you can always just look up a YouTube video if you really want to ride them. But this is mainly just for the immersion, and so it's my opinion. I don't know if Jake feels the
yeah,
same way,
yeah,
but like
no.
it's my opinion that it's more important that it looks as accurate as
Yeah,
possible
more like
than being
looks
able
over
to actually ride.
function, definitely I would agree.
Yeah, but yeah. So here's the Magnum XL-200. It sort of cuts the water park in half, which is it's very iconic, I think, especially for this area of the park. Like, um, just the fact that I mean, it's funny. I would say it's like one of the tallest rides in the park, but this is Cedar Point we're talking about, and there are like
And here's
wait,
Dragster.
yeah, exactly. So it's right next to Dragster, which is like twice as tall. Um, but I love how it stands over the water park, and eventually what we'll see is the campground. It's definitely still significantly taller than anything else in that area. And it's also I think it was really fun to build because The support structure is not just like, you know, straight up posts. It's more of a lattice structure. And so building that was more interesting than just like putting a whole bunch of posts straight up and down like with some other rides. Um, but yeah, the other thing I like is the station here. Um, it was fun to actually build a more high detailed structure after so long, which you'll see like in the campgrounds. They're all pretty much like the same structure, and um, you can't really get too much detail because the buildings itself are so small, and so you can't really add much detail. But what's nice with this is, I don't know, I just really like, even in real life, I really like the Magnum station. It's just very iconic to me. I don't know. And so being able to build this was pretty cool, especially with all the surrounding details, like all the bushes and trees and stuff. And so if we come back this way, like all of this is technically new. Everything, yeah, everything past this brick building we added. Um, so you can, like, as you walk up to Dragster now, it's a more finished view of the Midway. Um, so there's Magnum's Q. You can see like all the switchbacks um and such.
Oh, I
It's
like
not
this
perfect. Yeah.
vending machine.
This is actually the sign, the entrance sign. It's not a vending machine.
Oh, I
uh,
spawned in the camp.
a little preview, a little preview. Yeah, but it's not perfect. Like, I'm pretty sure that there are some trees on this side that we'll probably have to add in. But for the most part, it gets the point across. Like, there is this little um area here that's like shaded that people can sit and watch as you enter the queue. And I'm just glad that that's accurate, because when we were visiting, there was a situation where we actually had somebody waiting for us while we were in the queue. Um, and then of course, you climb up, and you follow the path upwards and get into the station just like you would. Um, and the station itself is fairly accurate. Now, unfortunately, uh, through like, because we built this like a half slab down, you can't really put the actual like gates, the barriers here, because it just would look unrealistic. So it's not perfect, but I like, all things considered, the station I think looks pretty good. You've got the ride control area, and there's even a little elevator that you can take down if you can't use stairs. And yeah, the ride itself goes off. Like, this is the only part of it that's actually in the park. The rest just sort of trails off. I think it's pretty interesting how it does that, and it also just gives a great view. Unfortunately, I think my render distance is too low to actually see the lake, but obviously, in real life, you get a
I'm
really
not gonna
nice
turn
view
my
of the
render
lake.
distance up.
No, yeah,
I
no, no,
don't
no,
want to
no, no.
lag too much. The server can't handle it.
The computer explodes.
You were running this off
Uh,
of a server that
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
hosting.
yeah. There was a point after finishing this build where I downloaded. I think it's the Distant Horizons mod. I forget which one it is, but basically it's a mod which essentially allows you to get um, like a really obnoxious render distance. And I turned it on, and I tried to fiddle with the details so that the rides actually looked semi-realistic, because it's sort of like the detail falters as you get further away. Um, and my computer bricked. So uh, it'll be fun to work on that, getting it to actually be realistic eventually. Oh wait, you know what? I'm just realizing I didn't. This is unfinished right here. The track. There's just a whole bunch of residual red wool on the bottom that I forgot to get rid of. This is the red wool on the bottom helps like as a guide to show like where the track needs to be, and then you can basically make it vertical. Um, but obviously, then you have to get rid of it afterwards, and I forgot to do that for this section. Um,
Yeah, so basically this entire update is all stuff that Peter has done. I have been basically like we haven't hosted a realm for this to like work on it together, so Peter has basically been he's
yeah,
done most of the park in general,
yeah,
but this was in general was all him.
well, there was the parking lot, the stint with the parking lot, and technically there was a little bit of time where we are both working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then of course the cabin, which you'll see. Um, a small little Easter egg, I guess. But yeah, so the Magnum, as you can see, it sort of trails off into like it surrounds the water park. So like all of this here. I've never been in the water park, but I imagine it looks pretty cool having Magnum essentially surround the entire thing. Um, we got some water slides, pool, like a lily pad sort of. I I guess parkour. I don't know. The real challenge, which I don't know how to build properly, are like the little splash pads that you get. You
Mm-hmm.
have like small slides, and you have like places where kids can like climb and stuff. So I did my best, but uh, you know, this was pretty difficult to build. Um, and it doesn't, in all honesty, it doesn't really look that accurate, but I
It looks
also don't
fine
really
though.
know.
Like
Yeah, I
we
mean,
don't only have a great reference for what it does look like. So
yeah. Um, and like so much of it is like really small details that you can't really even put in Minecraft, even if you knew exactly what it is you needed to build.
mhm.
So I guess all things considered, it's not the end of the world. Happy with how some of the slide complexes turned out, especially some of the ones on the other side of Magnum, like um,
Yeah,
the really detailed ones are like, yeah, here's a wave pool. Um, so fortunately, I don't know if there's a way of actually getting waves to show up in game other than like using a command block clock. But I don't know how to do that. I think it's fine either way. Um, but yeah, so then um, next to the water park, of course, there is the parking lot here, which is I guess it serves both the hotel breakers as well as the campground. Probably more so the campground, but this is where you would park if you wanted to do the water park or if you got a cabin. Um, and so basically, this whole side of the park. Um, I also like eventually we'll be able to put the Gemini, for example, which sort of like closes in the parking lot. That'll probably be one of the next rides that gets built. But yeah, and then we sort of transition um, into the campground with the cabins and all of that. And this was a little bit annoying, and the reason is because you can't like copy and paste the cabin builds because they're all slightly on different angles. So it's like they're all hand built and all slightly different. Um, we didn't do interiors because that would have been pain.
hmm
Because like you'd have to do the same interior but like slightly different for each one, and uh, no, yeah, no. So there are cabins here, um, and then and then we've got there's a decently open space on this side of the campground, um, where there's just sort of grass. And this is another thing which um, outdated because right here, technically, Google Earth shows a hotel, I think. Um, and they got rid of the hotel in favor of more camp spaces because they already have breakers. And so this is a bit more guesswork. They have a really handy map, which basically shows like what the campground is supposed to look like in modern like in today's time. Um, so that was used a lot because otherwise, it would basically just be guessing or putting in stuff that was outdated, and I want to try and avoid that. But yeah, so like here we have some of the lake cabins. Why is there just randomly missing stone slabs here? It's really weird. Huh. That's weird. Well, whatever. Um, but yeah, so here are the lakeside cabins. These stretch out like they start here and they basically go throughout the entirety of Lighthouse Point. Um, yeah, we've got some RVs. Only built a couple because RVs are a pain to build. Vehicles in general are a pain to build, and if you can't copy paste them, then you know it's it's challenging and repetitive and not entirely entertaining. So
Here we have the cabin we stayed in this past week.
yeah,
Cabin
yeah.
92.
Yes, it was such a vibe. We
Yeah.
got you know, because we stayed here, like it felt uh, appropriate to actually detail,
Mhm.
because you know, actually know what it's supposed to look like with some confidence. So we've got the grill here that we tried using with little success the first go around. It was my first time using a charcoal grill, and I didn't heat up the coals hot enough. So the burgers we made were a little bit rare.
They were
um,
moving.
no, they weren't. No. They were. Mine was cooked fine.
Yes, Sam.
Uh, yes. We've got the table here. The table, of course, is something that all the cabins have, but there's like I don't want
Very
to.
little
I don't want to
room,
go through it.
and
Yeah, there's very little room, and I don't want to have to add a table to every single cabin. Um, but yeah, on the interior, we did our very best to approximate what the interior of the cabin looks like. So you got
here's the
a bedroom in
bedroom where
here.
where I have set my spawn point on accident. I have to change that. Here's the kitchen and the
Yeah,
bathroom. Oh,
definitely a little bit cramped for space
definitely
here.
a bathroom here. These are the pull-out couches that just don't fit in the Minecraft
Yeah,
rendition.
yeah. There's a loft here which you can put bedding down for if you have like 8 people, which we did. We had a lot of people. Um, and yeah, there's normally it's a staircase, but you know,
Such a
no, not
steep
enough.
staircase, we kind of had to use
Yeah, yeah,
ladders. We could
ladders.
do one of
So,
those like really steep staircases where they do
oh
like a
yeah, yeah,
bell and then like
yeah,
break or something. I don't know.
yeah.
That'd be funny.
Technically, yes, it'd be funny. But yeah, so there's the cabin, and like that's the sort of a taste of what you would expect in the interior of a cabin in general. Like they all look similar to that. Um, Depending on the type of cabin, like the lakeside cabins are a little bit smaller, and then the deluxe cabins, which we passed by, are a little bit bigger. But generally, they look like that, I imagine. Um, Here we got the check-in building. So you come in here and you sign in, and there's no door. That's a little
I
bit
remember
awkward.
getting out of the car literally right here.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Ignore the fact that there's no interior. Um, I like interior building is not my strength, and I don't enjoy it. And so, when we put the world up for download, which I think will definitely happen, for the interior builders, they can have some fun with that. And by fun, I mean not fun, because there are a lot of interiors to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is the check-in area. There's some more cabins over here. And then you go down this way, you can see they have the original lighthouse that they named Lighthouse Point after, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's a pool, more spaces for cabins, um, RVs, that sort of thing. And this whole part of the park definitely, I would say, looks a lot cooler when everything is finished. And the reason is because there's a massive ride that you would basically be able to see over the treetops from here, which um, which definitely adds to the whole view. Oh yeah, this is we added some Easter eggs, so this might be a meth lab, perhaps. Just you know,
Referencing a particular show that I haven't watched, but Peter has.
you need to get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if for nothing else, just for the fact that pretty much like half the memes that currently exist have some form of Breaking Bad reference.
Hmm.
But no, it's a great show, and also meth. Can't
Hmm.
forget the meth. Um, let's see. Yeah, so here's the edge of Lighthouse Point. You can basically this is the whole thing looks like. I don't know. I'm just finding small little holes. Don't know what that's about. I'm gonna go back this way and see if there's anything we missed. But yeah, the road here is a very scenic drive, and eventually, when the whole park is finished, you probably want to take like
Or Speed
follow
1000
that.
Donkey. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, that's like the drive up to Cedar Point is iconic in my opinion. Like going from here to Breakers, or from the toll booth up to this part of the park is just really cool. Um, yeah, let's see. Not much new in the hotel. Uh, we did actually fill in these parking spaces so that they're not just solid stone like they originally were. Um, you can see there is like a wall that prevents you from looking into the maintenance behind the Magnum, for example. Small things like that. And then we added a little bit to the park itself with the Magnum entrance, and a couple small buildings. Oh, this ride here was a mistake of mine. Um, like as we said before, the Google Earth is outdated, and so because it's been a long time since I visited the park last, I just assumed that this was still here, and in fact, it is a barbecue restaurant. So that will be fixed. Yeah, something tells me that this is not quite as exciting as a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
So because barbecue is of course delicious.
Famous
Um,
Dave's.
oh yeah, speaking of famous Daves, we should actually. I mean, there is one more thing that we did in the park, which you might have seen on the map, and that is we built the second tallest ride here, the Millennium Force, or second tallest roller coaster. I'm pretty sure it's the second tallest ride. I forget the specifics, but
Dude, it was so fun.
yes, the Millennium Force, excellent ride as always, and it's also just massive. You can see it from pretty much anywhere in the park, and it is so iconic. And yeah, it's done. I mean, well, nothing around it is done, so there is that, but the ride itself is done, and it is. I don't know. I loved building this. It took like a couple days of effort, like alone, just for this ride. Um, and I think it turned out well. The lift structure it looks as it would look normally. if not a little bit less detailed because the Minecraft restriction, only work in blocks. Um, the support structure for the other parts also looks pretty good in my opinion. Um, and of course, the ride itself is fairly accurate to how it would be, making use of the Google Earth, um, the way that you can measure in it, which is really helpful. But yeah, it is a massive ride, and I'm glad that it looks fairly realistic to how it would be in real life. And and the fun thing with the station, because the music is so iconic. Um, because the music is so iconic, we actually decided to try our hand at the note blocks. So you can actually like, again, this is another instance where we didn't really finish it because like over here you can see like the queue just sort of stops. It's probably the next thing that's going to be worked on, but um, but as you get up, you can just sort of trigger a pressure plate, and then it plays a note block rendition of the Millennium Force station music. So as you're like getting in line,
Dude, being in the Millennium Force line and getting into the station and hearing this when I had first heard it in Minecraft was so funny to me.
yeah. Oh yes. I don't know. This is a great ride. Like if Steel Vengeance wasn't in the park, this would probably be my favorite. And even as it is, like well, everything like Cedar Point has so many great rides. So, but yeah, the other nice thing is we supped at Famous Dave's, and so you can like see. Well, I don't know if the render distance is going to be a little bit too low, but technically, you would normally be able to see the ride from Famous Dave's, and with a high enough render distance, I bet you can. Hold on, let me see if I can try render distance 48 chunks.
Ready to crash.
It's not registering. It's not loading at all. All right. Well,
There might be a limit on how far the server lets you see too.
That's actually probably true. Yeah. Also, this red building here. Before anyone says anything, yes, it's outdated. Yes, it'll probably get demolished. It's just a matter of working on that because well, I mean, I personally think the next thing that gets done is going to be the Millennium Force Midway and stuff. And, we got the Iron Dragon, for example. I forget if this was part of the last update, if we showed this Midway or not. The stage, the stage. You got got a little scene on the stage, but yeah, then there's also the Iron Dragon.
I'm pretty sure I put an axolotl in here somewhere.
It's probably despawned by now.
Well, I named it.
Oh.
It was a blue axolotl.
Hmm.
Maybe it was
Are you sure?
Might have not cared. Wait.
Are you sure I didn't kill it?
Let's see if the stuff is still in the. Because like what we left in the. Thing is still there.
The water tower.
The water tower still has the horses and the pandas in it, and the sheep.
Yes.
So like the axolotl in theory is still there, but.
Yeah, unless I killed it, you're forgetting that is in fact a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is everything that has been built since the last update. I'm really excited because I think that, well, again, if you go to the map room, in fact, I'm going to actually do that right now. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just going to if you go to the map room, you can actually see just how much has been done and how much is left. I'm in the map room now. There's like the coarse dirt is all that needs to be built, and it's not, like, comparatively speaking, it's really not that much. It certainly is a lot more detailed than, like, the parking lot, for example, or like that just wide open space of grass at the far end of the point. Um, but because it's more fun to build, I think it'll also probably go faster. Um, so yeah, it's it's coming along, and I don't imagine it'll take us um another couple updates. It'll probably be like the next one will probably be the last one.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Along with figuring out how to put the world up for download.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that is certainly something we're gonna have to figure out too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Eh, problem for future us,
Yep.
definitely.
All right. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the progress on the project. I know we are. It's been a blast
Yeah.
building this for the past couple of years.
Sorry, it's taking us so long. Yeah, it like a project this big. It's very hard to remain consistently motivated to build.
Mhm.
And so there will be like stretches of time where nothing gets done, and then there will be stretches of time where a lot of stuff gets done. So,
That's just how the creative process works. And yeah. So thank you guys for watching. If you're enjoying Cedar Point, do consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It helps us out a lot. More me, because I run this channel.
Yes.
It helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. But I think Peter seeing me grow is also a little bit of proudness on his part.
Oh yeah. No. As all friends should be,
Yeah, and it helps you out because if you click that notification bell after subscribing, you'll be notified of when the next and final update comes out, and you can get that world download.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The world download. I mean, all of the possible games you can play in this world. Yes.
Yeah.
So be sure to stay tuned for that. It'll probably come out in the next 5 years.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.